What's up, world? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, August 22nd, 2018. Bitcoin ETF, rejected again. Not really a surprise. We're going to talk about that. What's up, everybody? I'm going to check in on the chat in a second. Before I do, for replay viewers, I just want to say, just checking in on the weekly chart. There it is. That's a glance. Timestamp in the comment below. There'll be a pinned comment, and if you want to jump right to technical analysis, all good. I'll put the timestamp there for you to do so. We're going to talk about potential lower low targets as well as potential breakout targets. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but first I want to visit the chat, and then I want to kind of talk about a couple pieces of news today. But what's up, everybody? I appreciate everybody coming by. Hopefully my sound is okay and everybody can hear me. We have Steven Herzog, who I just retweeted on Twitter. What's up, man? How are you? Jim Flanagan's in the house. I'm trying to organize something on the West Coast when John comes. That's a great idea, Jim. Steven, I saw your tweet. I appreciate that, man. So what else we got going on? We've got, yesterday I tweeted, thank you for 12,000 subscribers. Grateful for every single one of you. I thought I'd start this live stream by just thanking anybody that's here right now. If you're in the chat, thank you for following along, but also really just kind of being in this with me. Really, I'm just a guy behind a camera, and we're kind of just going through the trenches together. I started this channel right at the beginning of this bear market, so we've definitely been through it. Josh Wallace, what's up, man? Chad Young, a lot of good news. Yes, even when we have a ETF rejection, but there's a lot of good news. And we can really jump in, I guess. Let's just jump into news. After news and talking about the ETF rejection, we're going to talk a little bit about price movement, and then I have something near and dear to my heart that I want to kind of go over, which is the Launchpad Foundation that we put out there today. So let's jump in and just kind of talk about what's going on. I tweeted a little bit ago and I just said ETF rejected, not surprised. I don't think really many people are surprised, but it happened, so I figured might as well cover it. Probably won't read through this whole thing, but let's just touch on it a little bit. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion. Russell Rowe says Bitcoin ETF to be approved September 30th. The SEC has again disapproved several proposals for a Bitcoin ETF. The latest rejection involves two ETFs filled by ProShares that would track Bitcoin futures contract, another from Granite Shares, and 5 leveraged and inverse ETFs from Direction. This follows on the heels of the SEC's rejection of the Winklevoss ETF in July that would have traded physical Bitcoin. I think people were more let down by the Winklevoss rejection than this one. I feel like most people weren't even following or tracking this one until yesterday or the day before. So similar to its rejection, and this gives us a little piece of the sentiment of SEC, the SEC expressed concern about fraud and manipulation of Bitcoin markets. I mean, isn't there fraud and manipulation in every market, first of all? It said that New York Stock Exchange ARCA, which filed the ProShares application, had not met its requirement that a national securities exchange's rules be designed to prevent fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices. The SEC emphasized that the disapproval does not rest on an evaluation of whether Bitcoin or blockchain technology has value as an innovation or investment. We already know it has value as an innovation, and we already know it has a ton of value as an investment. I mean, look at all the millionaires that are being made. Even in a down market, millionaires being made. So, John Moore, what's up? John Kim, what's up? Man, it's the East Coast gang. Steven's here. DRX Duct Cleaning is here. And DRX Duct Cleaning just posted an awesome post in a chat on Twitter. I mean, it was ridiculous about the Litecoin East Coast 30 for 30 team. We all came together, rallied to John as he traveled and toured the country. And we had a good time, but it was definitely sweet, man. I really appreciate your post that you put over there. So we have Drew Blood 21. What's up, man? Steven Herzog with a $24.99 super chat. Steven, I appreciate that, man. I also appreciate that tweet you just threw out there. I retweeted you. And speaking of that super chat, we're going to get into some exciting things at the kind of towards the end of this live stream, talking about how you all have inspired me and Sarah with these super chats. And, you know, we've really brainstormed on how to leverage this into really giving back to the community, the world, and some of our passions that I think hopefully excite you guys. So there's the article. While the SEC has yet to approve a cryptocurrency-based ETF, other applications are still in front of the agency, including an ETF that would track a basket of cryptocurrencies that was filed in July by Bitwise and the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust, which everybody's really waiting for. The SEC announced it was delaying a decision on approval or disapproval of the VanEck ETF until September 30th. So, I mean, that's over a month away. So, you know, try not to get too anxious about these ETFs. I kind of agree with Tech Lords. I don't think I'm pretty sure I saw Tech Lords comment. It's not, these things aren't that big of a deal. However, a lot of people are taking them seriously from a sentiment point of view and even from a manipulation point of view because it's happening. It really is happening. Steven Herzog with another $14.99 super chat. Dude, LTC East Coast team, we're here repping. And the team that went to New York City nailed it. Love you guys. True. I wasn't able to go to New York City. I don't think you were either, Steven, but John Moore, who else? Rob, Victoria, Nick. Who am I forgetting? Bunch of you guys, man. You're doing your thing in New York. I can't wait to see what you all were working on and what comes out of that, but it seemed like you guys had an awesome time. So Felipe, aka Flip, is in the house. He says, awesome, caught a live stream. What's up, Felipe? Welcome, dude. Welcome. So this article will kind of pivot us right into the charts and what's going on with price. It's crazy. A couple days ago I talked about, actually I'll get into that in a second, but we're gonna kind of tell the story of the last 48 hours. Bitcoin just jumped $400 in 20 minutes, but it might not last. So this was posted. Obviously, everybody knows what happened yesterday with yesterday's little mini pump. Got a lot of people excited. It really did. The Bitcoin price leaped last night, adding some $400 in just 20 minutes. Many observers noted the sharp rise in the Bitcoin price happened just after major Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX went down for scheduled maintenance at 1 a.m. This scheduled downtime forced the liquidation of a large number of short positions on the BitMEX exchange, indicating a so-called short squeeze. The short squeeze, which happens when the prices rise, forcing short sellers to buy more to cover their positions and creating a domino effect, pushing prices higher. In case you don't know what a short squeeze is, comes as the number of short orders placed on Bitcoin is nearing an all-time high, according to data from cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex. Short sellers, both in cryptocurrency and in traditional financial markets, bet against the price of an asset or security due to the belief the price will fall. If it does fall, it can be then bought back at lower price to make a profit. That's essentially what shorting is, if you're not familiar. Bitcoin hit $6,812 shortly after 2 a.m., but has already fallen back to trade just below $6,700. And as of now, obviously even further down from there. Meanwhile, investors will be looking towards a decision by the SEC into ProShares. Well, that already happened. And price really isn't moving. It really hasn't impacted price at all. So the Bitcoin price just last week, it dipped below $6,000 for the second time this year as the sell-off that's been rumbling on since January added pressure to Bitcoin, most other major cryptocurrencies. I saw another super chat from Steven come in. He says, Sarah and Dan, your foundation doing amazing things. Thank you both for all you're doing. Steven, I appreciate that, man. And if you don't know about the foundation Steven's talking about, we're going to get into that right after we cover price. But Sarah and I are so excited. We have our first meeting on Sunday at 1 p.m. And hopefully some amazing things come out of this. And I really, truly believe they will. So, Steven, I appreciate your super chats, man. You're awesome. You are awesome. So, that's the news. That's what happened. That's what everybody's saying happened in terms of yesterday, that little pump that we had. So let's start. Let's start with price. And, you know, it's like a bittersweet thing. The messed up part of me hates or likes doing this, but the nice part of me feels a little bad. But I tweeted earlier. I said it was tough, but I've chosen this week's hater of the week. Sean clearly just comments based on titles and doesn't actually understand my approach to markets. I'm long bullish and do my TA preparing for downside so I can accumulate. My approach is to be patient and buy the dips. So many of you know that. That's my approach, buying the dips, getting ready for the dips. That's why I do TA. But here's the comment that you know I wanted to highlight. I tweeted. Sean said, "Thanks for the bearish signal yesterday." And he's laughing up a storm here. Thanks for the free money. Are you bearish or bullish now? If you feel bullish, just let us know so we can sell. Just write it on the title, please. I don't have a time to watch the video, thanks. This is because the day before we had that little pump yesterday, I had not a bearish video, but I was calling for lower lows, right? I was talking about lower lows to be ready for them. And so Sean, in the middle of yesterday's pump, and I'll show you right around when he commented. It was right here. If we go to the 4-hour chart, Sean commented that post. If you can see it, I'm going to zoom in. Right there, right somewhere in that 4-hour green little candle, right there. I'm pretty sure that's right around when Sean was laughing. And you know, I ended yesterday's live stream. Somebody commented in the description, or not in the description, in the chat, and they said, "Don't FOMO, fam." And we were right up here. And I ended the live stream by saying, you know, I really wanted to highlight that comment because it's so true. Don't FOMO. And something tells me Sean might have FOMO'd as he was writing this comment pretty much at the top of yesterday's run. Really just talking trash. Talking trash, Sean. Not cool, man. But I wanted to highlight your comment because it really is, it's a valuable little lesson. I'm not hating on Sean. You know, I get comments like this all the time, but it's a valuable lesson just to be careful. And don't FOMO. It's probably one of the strongest lessons that you could possibly learn in this market. When market runs like this, right? Be very careful. If certain patterns and indicators are really confirming a bullish signal, then maybe it's a nice time to buy in and accumulate. But yesterday's run, none of those things were happening, and so that's why we were just saying to be careful. So. I saw some super chats coming in. Poseidon Lou with a 40, dude, that's like a whole Litecoin. I mean, you and Steven have donated each like a whole Litecoin tonight. Steven and Poseidon Lou, you're awesome. Poseidon Lou, you always gotta poke your head in here, man. I'm gonna pound both of you. That's my pound. We have Edit Name the Troll with a $2 super chat. Edit Name, you know I love you. Edit Name can be a toughie, but I truly appreciate that $2 super chat, man. That doesn't go unnoticed, not at all. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your comments and your contribution to the channel alone. But so Edit Name, Steven Herzog, Poseidon Lou, you guys are awesome. I love it. Giving me some energy after a long, long day. Kevin Smith is here. What's up, Kevin? So appreciate all of you guys. So let's do it. We called out the hater of the week. I'm just giving Sean a hard time, but I think it's funny that he was totally bashing on my bearish signal right at the top of that bull run. That little bull run, if you want to call it that. So here's the weekly. I'll give you a quick little overview of what's going on. I'm going to talk about these. In the blue is really like downside targets. It's what to expect or not expect, but anticipate on the downside. And then in the green is really something we've talked about, which is if we do get some upward momentum, if the bulls do come out of nowhere, what to anticipate on the upside. For me on the upside right now is just kind of enjoying the ride. I can tell you where accumulation, even on the upside, would happen for me, but I'll kind of end with that. But let's kind of go to the daily right now and talk about these areas that are on the charts right now. And let's start with the downside. I have this $5,100 area on the downside, and I want to talk about why I have that as a possible target there's a lot actually going on, and it's really cool when so many different indicators and so many different pieces of synergy kind of start intersecting, and that's what's happening. So $5,100 target on the downside. So the first thing, which we talk about often, is that 25% overextension from 200 EMA on the daily, and we can see, once it gets over 25%, we talk about this all the time. If you're new here, I'll mention it again. Once overextension from the 200 EMA happens on the daily chart, that's really when you can start looking for either, semi-short term, like this quick capitulation, or just a bottom in general. So let's take this most previous bottom, even this most previous swing low from the 200 EMA, and just measure that, right? So right there that was like 29% from the 200 EMA, and then we finally got a bounce. We can take this other bottom, this other swing low that we had, that was right around 27%. And so we can kind of take the 5,100, and I'm gonna lay this out there just so we have it in our minds from the 200 EMA where we are right now. Where would $5,100 be? And there's more to $5,100, but $5,100 is gonna be 33% overextended. So if we were to have a new lower low for Bitcoin on the long term, that's going to be very well overextended. But there's other things going on besides just that overextension from the 200 EMA. I just wanted to paint that picture real quick. Mainly what we have going on is, if you look at the 4-hour chart, which we'll go over here right now, we have a possible bear flag happening in formation. And to me, it's just very similar to this most previous lower low that we had in Bitcoin. And on its way down, you see these bear flags that form. And to me right now, until it breaks on the upside, it's probably one of the most important things we can look for for the downside is these bear flags. So if you look at this bear flag that happened, started forming back here in May or May into June, you can really see what happened with it, right? You can measure the top so-called pole to the bottom of the flag. So it's like around 17, and I just think I deleted. Yeah, I deleted that circle. So it's 17%, right? So that 17% from that pole to the bottom of the flag is really the target for, next area of support, right? And if you're going to enter into Bitcoin. So it did break, and the target for that break, when it broke, is 17%. You can see Bitcoin really bounced right off of that target area, and that's really how you would do technical analysis on a bear flag. So we saw support, it bounced back up, and you can see, we can check out just because I'm curious, when it did bounce from that wick to the new high. So it had like a 10% bounce after that bear flag broke down. So same type of deal here. What we want to watch for right now in terms of Bitcoin in this bear flag is potentially breaking the bottom of this trend line and getting a downward break. So the same thing, we're going to measure this pole down to the bottom of the flag, and we're getting like a very similar type of measurement, which is around 17%, right? And if we break on the down low, if we break on the down low 17%, that 17% brings us right around 52 and right between 5,100, 5,200. So on the downside, that's why you can see for the next low or next area of support on the downside, I have $5,100 on the daily chart. So, and I kind of stopped there because I thought my one screen with all the comments froze. I just wanted to make sure this live stream was still going on. So we have $5,100 target on the downside. That's just personally for me to be ready for that price range for a possible bounce. And those are the reasons why. It's going to be very well overextended. And then I have this last reason why, which is kind of, it's just my little thing. It's not really a technical analysis type of indicator, but I mentioned it before, but it could be interesting to see. These lower lows, when they happen, they're right in between that 10 to 12% area. And I think So we have that area, and then I think from this previous lower low, that $5,100 area, yeah, so it's right around 12%. So it would be a nice, pretty lower low if it happened, right? Just because it's a nice looking trend line if it happens. And we can kind of just get an idea of what it would look like. This is why I always try and have most of my charting done before I do a live stream, because it's just like, I feel like you guys are waiting for me when I'm trying to draw lines. So something like this, right? Like right in this area, a next lower low would be very pretty looking. And from a pattern perspective would look good. But I just want to point out right now also that this downward trend, this falling wedge, I think, in my opinion, is going to end up being extremely bullish when it breaks. The question is like, when is it going to break and how low is it going to go? But if you really watch where this is going, if we do see new lower lows, it's taking us right into this channel that I have, which is that $3,000 to $55 or to $5,000 channel. And that's like my strong accumulation channel for Bitcoin. That's because I personally do not think it will go any lower than that channel. So if we do see another lower low at the $5,100 area, like we're talking about in this video right now, that's a nice spot for me to buy before a potential bounce back up. Because at that point, we're going to be very, very, very well extended from that 200 EMA, just like previous times, right? Previous lower lows. So that's where I would see it. That's where I would see a potential bounce. So that's kind of my approach to the game right now. Always accumulating Bitcoin when I'm feeling like I want to, but more heavily accumulating in the dips. So this is that area, $5,100, $5,200. That's that area that I'm anticipating on the downside, and you just saw exactly why that is. BJ says, so you're trying to time the bottom. It's a really good question, because, and it's really like always mentioned in the comments that I'm trying to maybe call the bottom. But what I'm not really trying to time it or call it. I just want to make sure I'm personally ready for it. And if the bottom does happen from a technical analysis standpoint, where will that probably happen? And in my opinion, it's really right in this area, 5,100, 5,200. I just want to make sure I'm ready for it. If you sit around twiddling your fingers and just being like, I don't know, I'll figure out what to do tomorrow, and then it moves, and then you're not ready with your fiat to get in, to get out, that's just not a fun place to be. I used to be that type of investor and that type of person, just very speculative, very emotional. I just kind of bought when I felt like it was a good time to buy, but now I buy when I feel really confident because of technical analysis, because of indicators. And the indicators, a lot of people say technical analysis doesn't work in cryptocurrency, which it doesn't make any sense to me that people say that, because if you've been watching this channel since we've entered this bear market, like we've done a really good job of, anticipating each one of these dips that has happened. And personally, the old me probably would be accumulating Bitcoin throughout this exact downtrend, which I've been doing, accumulating Bitcoin. But the old me, like 5-10 years ago, would probably be accumulating like right here, right? Every time, because I would FOMO in. But now the new me is accumulating for way cheaper, and potentially the next one right here in this area. And I want to be ready for it, and I think it's smart to do so. So I appreciate that question, BJ. That's definitely a good question. So that's on the downside. I talked a lot about the downside, but that's really where the money's made, right? On the upside, I think I'm just going to be sitting back, happy with my current position. So there's not much else to prepare for other than just sit back and enjoy this show for me. There are instances where I'm like, okay, now we're on the upside, we're having fun. I still want to accumulate. When's the best time to accumulate? We're not really there yet. But just to paint a picture, we can talk about the upside, and we can also talk about when we would be there. Like, when would I accumulate and buy more even in an uptrend? So for something like that to happen, the first thing that would happen is a confirmation, and I'll zoom back in on the weekly chart real quick. would be a confirmation. So everything we just talked about doesn't happen, right? I don't get cheaper Bitcoin. I don't get my $5,100 Bitcoin that I'm talking about and that I'm ready for it. And we actually break up and this right shoulder forms. We break through the neckline on this inverse head and shoulders on the weekly. We break through that neckline, and we can go to the daily to really chart this. So we break through the neckline. We have that confirmed inverse head and shoulders, which is this right shoulder here. We have the left shoulder here, or no, the head right here, and then we have the right shoulder here. So a confirmed break through the neckline is when I'll be like, this is fun to watch. When I'll start being confident about accumulating at these prices of $8,000 is when we break through this neckline right here. But not only we break through it, but we come back down and we test the neckline. Once we see support and once we see a bounce off the neckline, that's when I start talking about and basically I'll buy Bitcoin. And you know, I would like to buy the higher lows in that new run that could potentially be happening. So what that looks like from a charting perspective is we break the neckline, we come back down, and this is kind of our first higher low. We bounce back up. This is the entry point conservatively. Bounce back up. We have a higher high, right? We've broken this previous lower high, and then we have a higher low. And these higher lows is where I would be keen to continue buying Bitcoin. The higher lows on the upside. Because these moves up from these higher lows, you remember, you know, you can see some nice gains on those alone. So that's kind of my approach to the upside. But really, in terms of not only approaching that reverse head and shoulders, you know, I just want to throw out a reminder, and I know I talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video, and I'll zoom in. But this 200 EMA is also right there, right towards that neckline, right? So we'll be breaking that 200 EMA at the same time approaching that neckline. So that's a huge area to watch. And not only that, and I'm just going to clear this chart because it's ridiculous. So lastly, besides those two things, the 200 EMA and the neckline, lastly, if I can do this, we have the Fibonacci on the daily. And the Fibonacci on the daily is the 786 down to the 618 area of potential resistance. So if we're breaking through that, we're breaking through the 200 EMA, and we're breaking through the neckline, all in this area, same area. We're breaking through all those things. It's going to be fun to watch. And if all of these things turn into support, this is where I'm saying, right there, this is where I'm saying is a very nice area to accumulate if we see support there. So those are my thoughts from technical analysis perspective after this crazy last 24 hours we had. Look at that. And what I said this on the post on my tweet when I called out that comment, and I was a jerk, and I'm sorry. I was a jerk. But I said my favorite thing is that he made this condescending comment because Bitcoin had a 4.5% green day yesterday. That's adorable. Because I really did, like, I was laughing that he was so hype and bullish because Bitcoin went up 4.5%. Like, that's really nothing. Look how many, like, that happens over and over again. That happens all the time. So yes, if you want to watch anything over the next, day or so, check out this bear flag. Keep it open on the 4 hour. That's what I'll be doing. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking, I'm just waiting to see if we get a breakdown below. I'm trying to find my brush. I'm waiting to see if that's not my brush. What in the world? A breakdown below this would be, then we start looking, all right, are we going to hold above this previous support at around $5,900? And if not, then that's when we really start eyeing up this target of $5,100 for that next lower low. So that's it. Boiling Point Mechanical, Rob is in the house. What's up, Rob? ETF rejection is already priced in. Time to buy now, says Type Shizlud. Whales don't care about techs. They just want your Bitcoins. Jose Miguel Lopez, why hasn't the market gone down after the ETF rejection? I kind of agree with that one comment I just read, that it was already kind of built into price. I think most people didn't really think it was going to get approved. The Van Eck ETF is a little bit bigger, in my opinion, and I think more people are going to be watching that one. So, Assad says, haters on tonight. I haven't seen too many haters in the comments. I'm seeing mostly love in the comments. So here we go. We went over some Bitcoin ETF news, and we went over charts, obviously. Just be prepared on the downside. Be prepared to accumulate. $5,100, in my opinion, is a nice area to watch out for a lower low. I'm not calling it. I'm not sitting here saying it's going there. I'm just saying be ready for it, because if the downtrend continues, that's a really nice area of where it potentially could find support. So just be prepared for that if you're interested in accumulating Bitcoin. It's not financial advice. This is just me, Dan, charting and showing you my charts. So lastly, but very importantly, wow, what great timing. Drew Blood 21, $49.99 super chat. You're the man. Drew Blood 21, you're gonna get into a fist fight with Poseidon, and I just called it. Poseidon Lou. You guys, Drew Blood 21, thank you, man. And Poseidon Lou. Well, first off, Drew Blood 21 says great things take time. And I couldn't agree more. It takes time, it takes patience, and if you have the patience, you can really do really well in these markets. So don't get wrapped into all the FOMO. Don't get wrapped into being emotionally bullish all the time. Be ready for downside. It's all good if it happens, if you're long, in my opinion. Poseidon Lou with a $19.99. You the man, Dan. Super chat. So you guys, I really appreciate your super chats. I really do. I'm extremely grateful. It came to a point where I just couldn't say that anymore. I couldn't say I'm grateful anymore, because it's just not enough, in my opinion. You guys are, you inspire me. All you commenters, you inspire me. I wanted to start giving back, and so I created the Launchpad, the social network, and we're going to keep continuing to develop that. It will be an Android. It will be an iOS app, okay? I want to make this cool, so it's going into those things, but there was more kind of on my heart and on Sarah's heart as well to do even more. And you guys are really you guys are the launchpad of this launchpad. I just want you all to know that. Not trying to sound cheesy, but it's true. Jim Flanagan with a $20 super chat, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Jim Flanagan says, I will have a Saturday ticket to give away. Jim, I saw your message and I was going to reply, I just didn't get around to it yet. But I appreciate you, Jim. I really do. $9.99 from Poseidon Lou said, Drew Blood won the lottery. And then Drew Blood, these guys are killing me, man. You all are killing me. $9.99 from Drew Blood. Drew Blood 21 says, Lou is rich. Steven Herzog says, I want our faces on your homepage. We're definitely going to have a page where I gather all of you super chatters and supporters. And I'm going to have all of you on the website. So what is it? I mean, I'm going to dive into it. So Launchpad Foundation coming soon. Visit site for roadmap and mission. And I posted this site today. And I'll give it a second to load. That took way too long. I think the live stream slows down my computer. So here it is, Launchpad Foundation. Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture Launchpad Foundation. Is this really frozen right now? Come on. So this is what it is. Inner City Youth, we have our first meeting on Saturday. And I'll read you just a piece of it, because this is something that has been like really important to me since high school. This is something I've been wanting to do since high school. I just haven't had really the opportunity or just the timing, right? The timing of doing something like this. But in the last few months, it just kind of all came together. So Inner City Youth, and I just, the website says crime, violence, drugs, these are things that threaten the lives of millions of youth across the country every day. Youth living within the borders of inner cities are at increased risk at staggering levels. The need for a helping hand, mentorship, and love is very real and powerful. And it is. It's so true. And I'm, if you're not familiar, I'm pretty close to Philadelphia. I even actually went to school in Philadelphia. And for whatever reason, I just have a heart for inner city. And I feel like there's so much to contribute to make those areas better and to help kids that don't have parents. It's just very, very important to me. So our foundation strives to be a hand that helps. The mission of the Launchpad is to assist in launching inner city youth onto the right path. It will do this by acting as a resource and fund to strategic partners who share the same vision. So here's the light roadmap of, what the Launchpad Foundation is going to be doing. So the anticipated launch is October 1st. November 1st, I have a sick promo video that you guys are gonna love the promo video. But I'm not really gonna tell you what it is. And then Q4 2018 will be the first funding. So sometime in the next few months, probably in the next couple months, we'll have the first funding. And that first funding will most likely be going to a project that I'm meeting with on Sunday. Me and Sarah are going down into Kensington and Philadelphia, and we're meeting this group, this ministry, and it's a ridiculously cool project. They're doing so much. They're getting so many kids off the streets and mentoring them, helping them to get jobs, teaching them how to get jobs, and it's crazy. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to document all of this for you to see. So, I'm saying this because this is something that, a lot of these super chats that you guys are doing, it's going to be put into these things, right? And I want to be very transparent about that. So we're having a widget built. I was actually talking to E about this, about having a widget that really tracks Litecoin donations that come in, right? So we've already started getting donations, and this is, right now this is manually updated. I'm going to be manually updating this what you see on the screen. And this is, we got some Litecoin donations today when I tweeted this, and then this is also revenue from Super Chat. So it's kind of like the beginning stage right now. We haven't even launched, but this is what's there, and more will be going into that. And that's it, man. This is it. I have myself and Sarah. Sarah is my co-founder, my wife, who still needs to write up a little blurb because the website is blank. Do you hear that, Sarah? Let's go. Get on it. So, and this is just a verse that this is what inspired it back in high school for me. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. James 1:27. And that's it. Launchpad Foundation. Yo, we're gonna be down there too in Philly, me and Sarah. And we're gonna be doing work, and we're gonna document this on video so you guys can follow it. But I just want to let you know, super chatters, all of these super chats aren't going just right into my pocket. I want you to know that. But we're gonna make some moves. And I'm really excited about this. It's probably the most excited I've been in quite a while. So appreciate all of you guys. And I think I just saw Poseidon Lou says, Drew Blood is a woman. Don't let her name fool you. Wow. Wow. Drew Blood, I don't think Drew Blood is here anymore, but that's messed up, Poseidon Lou. You guys are awesome. I don't think I'm going to be able to meet Drew Blood, Poseidon Lou. I know I'm going to be meeting you, but I don't think I'm going to meet Drew Blood. Jim Flanagan with a $20 super chat. If you need a West Coast rep, let me know. I'll do whatever is needed. That is awesome, man. I appreciate that. Heck yeah. I mean, obviously we have our first project we're going to launch with. It's a really big project, and like they're doing huge things in Philly. But heck yeah, a West Coast project will be awesome as well. So that's something we can brainstorm, Jim. I appreciate your super chat, man. So portion wise, like from the super chats, I'm really going to allocate it towards Launchpad Foundation and towards just continuing to build out the social network, the Launchpad network, and just putting back into this channel. But you'll be able to see what we put into this foundation. And you can also donate Litecoin. So like I said, we got some Litecoin donations today from the tweet, which was really cool. But we're going to have some fun with it. And you all are really a part of it just as much as I am. Hopefully you're all good with this foundation, supporting inner city youth and just really trying to help that need that's there. Fog Wonder says, where at in Philly? The area. So Sarah and I are going into Kensington on Sunday. So that's where we will be meeting in terms of, trying to help and try and get this ball rolling and get this, I guess you could call it partnership moving, but that's what we'll be working on. So wanted to go over that real quick on the live stream tonight. And obviously, I'll give continued updates to all of you as time goes on. So, but yes, thank you all. I really appreciate it. I really, really, truly do. But that's it. I mean, other than that, let's watch Bitcoin. Right now we have a 4-hour green candle. The first one in, I don't know, first one in around 12 hours. So we'll see if it continues moving. Tremor 45, Chicago needs BTC LTC. Tremor 45, you're the one that said don't FOMO fam last night, and that's what I was talking about. That's right. I appreciate you commenting because that was kind of bothering me. So I'll end with that again. Don't FOMO fam. Don't FOMO. Learn from this comment on YouTube that happened yesterday. And look out for these areas of support. Right now we have a pretty solid trend line to watch out for in the 4-hour, and we have this upper trend line on the 4-hour as well, which is right along this 200 EMA. But you can see yesterday, right as we were doing the live stream, right in this wick, we got that resistance at the 200 EMA that we said to watch out for, and we saw the resistance, and obviously not a very good sign, especially and I meant to point this out when I was covering this previous bear flag, because there's a lot of similarities right now, but you can see that Bitcoin approached not as much as we just approached it yesterday, but it started approaching the 200 EMA, never even really made it there, didn't see support above the 50 EMA, and then we broke below the bear flag. So same type of situation right now, and I'm glad I'm doing this because I forgot to bring it up, but same situation, rejection 200 EMA, broke through the 50 EMA, so very close to possible breakthrough on the downside of this bear flag. So just be keenly aware, and I'll leave it there. I appreciate all of you. John Kim is even in the house. He says, message me on Twitter if you're interested in building a team. West Coast will be in September. So somebody just asked me, we request analysis of different coins. Brandon, that's not a bad idea. I might do that in a live stream one day. As long as it's not like XRP or something. Dan Best, what's up, man? Thanks, Tups. Okay, so that's it. Appreciate all of you coming by. The second live stream, I did one last night. Tonight is Thursday, but I feel like I have to do live streams on Thursdays, and appreciate all of you. Appreciate your continued support. Hopefully we can have some fun with the Crypto Capital Venture, Launchpad Foundation, and we can have some fun on that journey as we hopefully assist in changing some lives. I really truly think it's going to happen. But appreciate all of you. Be careful out in these markets. Listen to Tremor 45. Listen to Tremor 45, who says, don't FOMO, fam. We said it last night, and that was really good advice. Not financial advice, just life advice. Don't FOMO. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Super chatters, I don't even know what to say. Poseidon Lou, I have your Red Bull ready, man. Can't wait to meet all of you guys. Appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing night. I will definitely see you in a video tomorrow. Have a great night, and God bless.